Well, we've done it again. We've made it to another state. We're leaving Utah and heading into Idaho. And what's the most famous thing in Idaho to my generation? Let's go find out. Actually, before we even get there, check this out. We've been traveling along the Pioneer Historic Byway. You can see there's some pioneers with their Mormon handcart traveling to the west. And this is one of the first places they settled. Welcome to Franklin, Idaho, which according to the signs surrounding the whole place is this one. Franklin, Idaho. And scattered all around what looks like a normal small town neighborhood are these pioneer buildings, all standing right here where the original town was founded. And literally, people were living in their log cabins back in the days when Franklin was first settled by those followers of Brigham Young there. There's one of them now. See, look at this, just scattered around this normal-looking neighborhood are things like this stone memorializing the location of the first pioneer schoolhouse, which was the teacher's house, a little log cabin located roughly where this slightly more modern structure stands, which was located just outside of the fort the Mormons put up right over here near the historic downtown. The fort has long since disappeared. It was built in 1860 when this place was technically part of Washington territory. There was no Idaho yet. At that time, the original settlers thought it was still Utah territory. Little did the Franklinites know that they were founding the first town of a new state. Look at this, not too many buildings downtown. Check out the cool ghost advertisements, the old advertising hand-painted signs on the back of this building, partially obscured by ivy, and now sitting in somebody's front yard. How cool is that? Looks like we have an old garage here, no longer open for vehicle repairs. I think that might be those people's garage. They have a pretty cool vintage house going on over there. And then there's this. What in the heck is that? I don't know for sure, but it looks like it used to be a pretty hip, happening hot spot. Dude, that is awesome. All right, time to get back on the historic byway, US 91, and keep heading north. Oh my gosh, it is gorgeous up here. Beautiful. All right, time for a little detour. Gotta go somewhere iconic, because when millions of people think of Idaho, they think of this building located on some farm roads just outside of a little small town I won't name yet. It's been years since I've been here. It's Napoleon Dynamite's house. Dude, it's been so long since I've stood out here. Years. I was out here with my buddy Adam the Woo during the last full daytime solar eclipse. That was one heck of an adventure.
Holy cow.
Oh my gosh,
right
the sun! Whoa! What in the world, dude? I cannot believe this! And we're kind of retracing those steps today. So I thought, why not stop by Idaho's most famous house? Napoleon's house is really in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty far from the little town of Preston, Idaho over there. As you can see looking the other way, the roads aren't paved out here. There's not much going on but farmland. But I love it because other than the mountains, it really reminds me of something from my childhood. My great-grandparents owned a dairy farm in Canada, and they moved into a house very much like this one on just a small part of what was their big dairy farm when they retired, except there was all corn around them. Not whatever this stuff is. And by the way, across the street here, this is where that farmer shot the cow in front of the school bus. Yes! It was really cool going in the summertime up to the old farm and running around in a place much like this, seeing the old cemeteries, running through the cornfields, seeing the cows. This place is even more beautiful because of the mountain scenery when you look back towards Utah. It's pretty sweet. Pre-COVID, when you would come out here, there were little signs about Napoleon's house and you could leave a little donation, but maybe the pandemic slowed down traffic to Preston or something, because I don't see any of that here. So I did just see the owner I talked to the last time I was here, so it's still owned by the same people.
You know, back in '82, I could throw a pigskin a quarter mile. Are you serious?
It still looks identical to the way it did in the movie. Other, of course, than the fact that it's lost that distinctive awning over that big window there. They didn't shoot the inside scenes to the house here in this house. That is like a bucket list goal of mine, to find where they did film the inside scenes, but they did film all the exterior stuff, the front porch with Deb. You know, your mom goes to college. Uncle Rico and the steak. And of course, who could forget feeding Tina? Now, from the looks of it, Tina's long gone. In real life, there isn't even actually a fence over here for any kind of llama. Tina, you fat lard, come and eat your dinner. But I did just see a chicken run behind my van. And look who it is. Fancy meeting you here, Julio. What's that? You've been working a summer job at the egg farm. Tell me something though, Julio. Do the chickens have large talons? Not funny? Okay. There you have it, folks. Napoleon Dynamite's house. You know, that movie feels so realistic. It almost feels like Napoleon is real, and if you knocked on the door, you're gonna meet Uncle Rico or the grandma or Kip, who, no shade on Napoleon Dynamite himself, might be cinema's greatest character ever. But of course, the Dynamite family are not real people. That's not their real house, and we don't want to bug the real owners of the house all day long. So maybe it's time we head into town. If you come out here, make sure to be super quiet and cool and respectful of the owners. Don't block their driveways or anything like that. If you're willing to do all that, you can find Napoleon's house at 1447 East 800 North. For some reason, all through Utah and spreading up into Idaho, there's a lot of 800 North type streets. Never understood that strange numbering system, especially in Salt Lake City. It's bizarre. Anyway, gravel road aside, I've always considered this one of the prettiest places I've ever been to. Such a mix of rural scenery and mountain scenery, gravel roads, chicken farms, country roads. Take me home. Okay, fine, I'll stop, Julio. Sometimes I think you hate fun. Now, the town of Preston is actually a lot bigger than you would think it was. It also gets a lot more traffic than you would expect from a small town like this. Now, in the movie, Napoleon Dynamite talks about getting his hair cut at the Cutting Corral. And the Cutting Corral was located right here. Looks like it's no longer in here. Looks like that business must have died. But there is still a self-defense studio in town, complete with tinted windows so you can't try to peek in and learn Rex Kwon Do for free. And Preston's big enough to have your O'Reillys, your Wendy's, your McDonald's, Subway, couple of car dealerships. It's a pretty nice sized town. Well, for however big or little Preston may be, it also happens to be primarily a Mormon town, which means the last time I was here on a Sunday with Adam the Woo checking out all the Napoleon Dynamite filming locations, many of the shops down here were closed, including the DI, the Deseret Industries thrift store, in which Napoleon Dynamite gets his suit for the prom, and the producers got the wardrobe for pretty much the entire cast. Pretty cool all these years later to finally check that off the list of Napoleon Dynamite filming locations that I've visited. There were some pretty snazzy suits in there, but I just remembered I'm not going to prom. In fact, I never went to prom. However, if you don't need a prom suit, you can go next door. Still to this day, they'll sell you a Vote for Pedro shirt. All right, as much as I'd love to keep exploring Preston, I did film an entire video of Napoleon Dynamite filming locations with my friend Adam the Woo several years ago. What? And I've got at least an hour-long drive ahead of me to my next location, another Idaho classic I really wanted to stop at the last time I was here. So it's probably time we hit the road. Gosh dang it, Idaho is gorgeous. Look at this. Beautiful. Wouldn't want to be here in the winter, but it's beautiful right now. Uh-oh, looks like the weather's gonna turn on us, so we'd better be quick. But welcome to Blackfoot, Idaho. Hey! Blackfoot, Idaho is home to something epic we're gonna get to in just a second, but first I thought I'd take a rest on this little bench here. Hey, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, would you look at the size of that woman? Behold, my friends, it's a Uniroyal gal. These big old ladies were created for the Uniroyal Tire Company way back in the 1960s, and very few of them survive today, but what few there are scattered along America's highways and byways. And look at this, there's one right here in Blackfoot, Idaho, wearing high heels, a very colorful outfit, and yes, just in case you were wondering, you weirdo, she does have underwear on under there. Not that I looked. That is awesome, but the even more awesome thing about Blackfoot, Idaho is that's not the only giant thing in town, because literally just a short walk down the road is this. It's a giant potato. Would you look at the size of that spud? Dude, it's not every day you come across a giant potato on the side of the road, and not just any giant potato, but a giant baked potato and the giant mascot of the Idaho Potato Museum. This is the boss potato, the baked potato fully loaded with all the information about potatoes you could ever want inside. All it's missing is the bacon bits. I've been here once before with my friend Adam the Woo. We took a picture in front of this giant spud over here. Sadly though, the Potato Museum was closed. So I vowed silently to myself that one day I would return, being a fan of potatoes. Now, sadly, this isn't the world's largest potato. That honor belongs to one in Boise, Idaho, that you can actually sleep inside of. But it sure is a big potato, and it's at least the biggest one I've ever seen. All right, before that thunderstorm strikes, let's see what we can see in here. Idaho, of course, is known as the potato capital of the world. It's what they're famous for. Look at this, even the press penny machine is covered in potato designs. And there must be a potato restaurant in here because I can smell potatoes already. I just walked in. Oh, Marilyn, you've never looked better than in your potato sack. She's really pretty. Not a lot of depth, though. Okay, enough with the jokes. Let's get in there. Oh, man, this museum goes deep right away. It talks about how potatoes come from the Andes Mountains down in South America. And there are even artifacts in here from the worship or the veneration of the potato gods in South America. Those are the ones that wreak vengeance on us for eating too many French fries. There's information here on how they went to Europe and the confusing path that they took to get here to America again. In the form we know and eat today, of course, you can find out why the climate is just right here in Idaho to grow so many potatoes. It's the biggest potato producing place on earth. There's a lot going on in here. Then it gets into the good stuff. The potato accoutrement. Look at that, baked potato nails, potato spikes, spud spikes. Okay, mostly a lot of nail-like implements to cook your potatoes on, which is sad because they keep drawing all these happy little potatoes and then putting spikes in them. Who are these sadistic people? Look at all these potato peelers. There are so many kinds of peelers. That is insane. Although I heard if you just cut around the potato with a knife, cut a little line through the skin and then cook them, the whole skin will peel right off. So I don't know what you need all these fancy implements for. Maybe that's not true. Never tried it. Man, this place is awesome. It's mighty for being so small. And look at this. Speaking of small, or speaking of things that aren't small, really, do you know what this is? This is the world's largest Pringles potato chip. Look at the size of that chip. Well, I mean crisp. It's a crisp 25 by 14 inches made of processed dehydrated potatoes and basically formed by food processing machines. That's the difference between that and the chip, because the chip is just a very thinly sliced potato. Crisps are phonies. Look at this. You got potato sack outfits there. There's a potato sack suit jacket. I could go to prom in that. And there's a bunch of vodka over here apparently made from potatoes. I did not know you could make booze from potatoes. I'm learning. Here's some 100-plus-year-old dehydrated potatoes. Kind of gross. Who was keeping those around? Here's a potato sent from the Idaho governor to Dan Quayle, vice president of the United States, who could not spell potato. Remember that incident? And then here are some Idaho potato comic books with various potato heroes. Field Force. Weird. I guess they've had a lot of innovative ways of promoting the potato over all of these years. But let's face it, does the potato really need to be promoted? After all, one taste of a fried one and you're hooked for life. Oh my gosh, this is something I have not seen for years. It's the couch potato. When's the last time you saw one of these? When's the last time you even heard someone use the phrase couch potato? Let's bring it back. I should put that on a bumper sticker here. Don't be a couch potato. Come see the giant potato. Awesome. This museum rules. Look at this. They've got a whole potato theater here telling you how McDonald's French fries are made out of real potatoes, among other things. So bizarre. Over yonder, across the way in the cellar, is a life-sized family of potatoes. Hello.
Don't be shy. I'm Buzz the Spud, and this is my wife, Potato Patty, and our youngest, Tater Tot.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
Whoa, not yet, dear. I'm still trying to talk to these fine folks and explain our situation.
Down in this actual cellar, they have a whole family of giant potatoes come to life by projections, explaining why potatoes have to be stored in cellars.
We've been down here for several months now, and I've grown quite fond of this place. But we're going to have to be moving on soon. It's getting close to harvest time, or as I like to call it, the Great Potato Migration. When that time comes, we'll all be uprooted and moved to a cozy community setting in one of them fancy cellars you see out there in the fields. Now don't be feeling sorry for us.
Dude, it's been like 5 minutes. They're still talking. These potatoes love to tell you about themselves, believe me. Oh my gosh, the potato even turned on the TV to explain something about potatoes. And I just realized they're couch potatoes. I won't subject you to the whole speech. I mean, I won't spoil the whole speech for you. But let me put it this way. You can learn a lot from these weird animated sacks of potatoes. Look at that. Even the little potato is bored by his dad's speech. He's fallen asleep. Somebody worked really hard on this, and it is awesome. I feel bad. Is it rude if I just walk away? I can't help walking away. Look behind me. They've got all these toy potato tractors in here. All kinds of crazy, wacky potato glassware on display. I never thought about it, but I guess you could have a whole potato collection. There's characters, there's spoons, there's peelers, there's weird jugs of all kinds, salt and pepper shakers galore. Pretty sure back there those are gravy boots. You know, in case you want some mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes. I'd like to mash those potatoes down there. Hungry.
I'm just hanging around in dark places where I only can stare at the dirt. Potato, 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 potato.
Oh my gosh, even the potato song is long. Okay, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. What in the world are these? If the singing potato projection show wasn't enough for you, it appears they've got potato VR. Experience the wonders of potatoes in virtual reality. I have no idea what this is going to show me, but I'm hoping it's wonderful. Oh my gosh. You're sitting on a tractor farming potatoes. Weird. It's just genuinely you sitting in 360 degrees in the cab of a potato tractor for a long time. I'd show you what it looks like, but once you take them off your face, they stop working. Okay, there are so many unexpected things in this potato museum. You can learn all about the actual farming and production of potatoes here. Look at this old potato sorter. You can learn about potato ladies. The biggest potato grown in Idaho. Boy, that's a heavy metal potato. This facsimile weighs 60 pounds. The real one only weighed 7 pounds. They should have a 7-pound model. There's information on how they grade potatoes. There's a potato sack sewing machine. You never really think about that, but potato sacks have to be sewn too. And there are all kinds of scales for the potatoes and machines for the potatoes that I still really don't understand what they're for. This is a big potato seed cutter, this machine here. Of course, potatoes aren't actually grown from seeds. They're cut from pieces of, well, full-size potatoes, which are cut up into just the right size pieces that will grow back into full-size potato plants, making all the potatoes in Idaho clones. That's right, most of the grocery store potatoes you eat are clones. Really, we should probably be eating heirloom potatoes. I almost said tomatoes. Because potatoes in the Andes, where they're originally from, are much healthier. They're all kinds of different colors and flavors. I'm guessing French fries in America had a lot to do with the way we grow all of our potatoes to look, taste, and feel the same. I guess you can't argue with popularity, can you? Oh my gosh, there's a potato lab up here talking about all the various science experiments you can do with potatoes. Many of you did that in science class. There's a little computer wing in here. And what would a potato museum be without a shrine to Mr. Potato Head? Look, at there he is. Mr. Potato Head himself. Look at the old vintage Mr. Potato Head. Freaky. Luckily, he's not wearing his angry eyes today. From what I understand, the original idea behind Mr. Potato Head was to put the pieces into an actual potato. And actually, at first, he was just going to be a quote-unquote funny-faced man, so you could just sell the parts and stick them into any vegetable you wanted. Look at it. Look at that original kid. See that funny face kid? Look, you got a beet, an orange. I've always wanted one of those original Mr. Potato Head, like funny face kits like that. Never come across one for sale, though. At least not one that I can afford. And look at all the generations of Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head and R2-D2 Potato Head. He's a popular guy. It's because he's so spudley. Last but not least, next to this whole entire display case of potato mashers. Holy machinations. There is, as my nose predicted, the Potato Station Cafe, complete with potato decor, potatoes on the menu, and Coca-Cola. Why not? Oh my gosh, look at the toppings that you can put on your potatoes down here on this sign. That is wild. And what is this? Potato candy, potato chips, potato cupcakes. They've gone potato crazy. Don't ask what my favorite part was or my favorite item. I can't tell. There were too many, although maybe it was the potato found inside of another potato. No, wait. Scratch that. I know what it is. It's definitely got to be the plush potato family from that projection show in the gift shop. The little one, by the way, his name is Tater Tot. Dude, who knew there was so much potato-themed merchandise in the entire world? There's so much sick, spudley merch in here. I don't even know what to do. I can't buy all of it. I don't know if I can buy any of it. I told you, they've gone potato mad. Did you see the potato lotion in there? They had potato lotion. Look at this. There's potato poetry. We gotta go. That's enough potato action for me. Come on, Julio, do it. Get your fun pick with the big potato. I know you want to. Fun pick! You did it! You know, speaking of fun picks, sometimes it's really easy to get a fun pick of the crazy roadside attraction in town and then do nothing else. When really, if you just walk or drive a few blocks away, you might see an old historic downtown like this one. And I always see like the best murals and old architecture and so many other amazing things in America's little Main Street downtowns. Look at this. There's a little escape room place here. Check out that beautiful theater across the street. Look at, they do community plays here, not movies. And look at the ticket taker. They've got their own Tilly out here with a little bit of a coffin-shaped door behind her. But how cute is that? Apparently this isn't the only theater in town. Blackfoot's got a lot more going on for it than I thought. Multiple theaters, a huge public library, gorgeous, gigantic, and patriotic murals abound. There are cute little curio shops with Bigfoot footprints outside. There are little hair salons. You can learn karate. Oh God, no. No! Downtown bread! It's my old nemesis, Mr. Gluten himself. I can't tell you how many times people ask me how I found this, that, or the other from my videos. So much of the time the answer is by just walking around. Now, lots of times I'm in a big hurry, so I'll try to at least drive through the old main streets, but whenever I can, getting out on foot is preferred. Look at this, I'm confused as to whether or not that's a pawn shop or the hangout. Look at all the windows over there. I don't know if it's as cool as the hot spot that we saw earlier. Look at this. Let's hang out, cornhole, let's play, find something to do. You see, right now I don't have time, but that's exactly the kind of thing that if I'm ever back in town and not alone, all by myself, Julio stayed in the van, I'd definitely come and check out what's going on at the hangout or pop across the street to the very cool looking antique store. I highly recommend it. And just kick back. Relax a little. Man, this downtown is a lot bigger than I thought. It's always like that with historic downtowns. You really cannot judge the size of a city by cruising by on even a little highway, much less the freeway. Just so much cool stuff to discover. Anyway, speaking of discovering, I'd like to discover where we're gonna sleep, especially since the phone keeps giving off flood warnings, so I'm guessing the storms are gonna hit us eventually. No time for thrift shopping today, I suppose, no matter how epic the store is. Time to hit the road. All right, well, a couple of towns drive and one hotel check-in later, and we are back somewhere I never thought I'd be again. We're back in Idaho Falls, Idaho. Now, the last time I was here was during that solar eclipse I was telling you about.
Holy cow!
Oh my gosh,
right
the sun! Whoa! I cannot believe this. And believe me, this little green belt along the river and along the falls here looked a lot different. It was absolutely packed with people who had come from around the country and around the world, as a matter of fact, to see the solar eclipse. We wandered up and down around here, checking out all the eclipse groupies. That's a thing. Took in some of the chaos and the mania. It was way too packed and obviously too loud because of the waterfalls for us to film the eclipse over here. So we did all our filming in a dirt lot next to a hotel parking lot that is now a car wash. So since I can't quite go back to the exact spot, let's just pretend that we filmed the eclipse from over here. We're back. This is so crazy. Now, over the falls in the beautiful downtown of Idaho Falls, Idaho, there's all kinds of museums and cute shops, all sorts of stuff. And I had planned on sticking around for a couple of days, checking out all the sites on offer here, but the weather may or may not cooperate. You see, Idaho Falls is sort of a gateway between Idaho and the Salt Lake area and Yellowstone to the east, Montana, Wyoming, and I was sort of hoping to head off in that direction next, so we've got to find out whether we need to stay here, let the storm roll over, or punch through the storm, core punch if it's gonna stick around for a while. At the moment, it's an open question for me. But you know what's not open? The rest of this episode. We've seen and done quite a bit today, my friends. We've seen a lot of potatoes, that's for sure. I've got to head up the Snake River to the Walmart over here, get some supplies, and decide what in the heck the next move is. Like I told you when we left for this adventure, I did not plan out a route. I did not plan out an itinerary. I'm sort of floating in the breeze, floating with the current. Much like Lewis and Clark, I kind of have a rough idea of where I'm going, but I have no idea how exactly I'm going to get there. So stay tuned and we'll all find out together. Just real quick though, look at this. The hotel I got is old and has kind of a busted up, sketchy exterior. It was one of the cheapest ones available tonight. But here's the sneaky secret. Look at this. It's all been freshly remodeled. They're still working on it downstairs and outside. That's why it looks all crusty. But up here, looks like we've hit the jackpot. You can even kind of, just about, see the waterfalls from the terrifying balcony of doom. Oh. Okay, get me back inside. Get me back inside. Anyway, my friends, the thunderstorms are about to roll in. I have got some editing to do. Please do me a favor and share this video with someone you think would like it, and check out our merch. You can check out our Patreon with the podcast and all the extra stuff over there. And once you do that, you'll have done your duty. Now it's time to hotel and sleep well. See you next time. Dude, dang it! We didn't make a human sacrifice.
It's not too late.
That's true. We are sorry, Almighty Son. We offer you the head of this beast as a sacrifice.
I had my doubts. I didn't think it was going to be as impressive as it was, but it was impressive.
That was most impressive.
You know what that means?
What?
It's time to wash out the nasty beverage I just had and go with the real deal.
Ready? Ah, cheers, bro.
We did it.
We did it. Oh yeah.
Take it down. Take it down.
Okay.
Don't stop.
That made me stop. Okay.
Mine didn't work. Union Pacific. What do they do, huh? Oh, so that's what they do.
En France, we call potato pomme de la terre. And Marie Antoinette used to put pomme de la terre blossom in her hair. Ah, and look at this, sacre bleu. This is an old schoolhouse for étudiants converted to a regular house. La maison des étudiants. Au revoir, mes amis. Au revoir. And here is Napoleon's house. Napoleon. Oui. C'est bon. C'est bon.